Lamont is a small community in unincorporated Kern County. We're about maybe 15 miles to the southeast of Bakersfield proper, primarily made up of Hispanic or Latino residents. Lamont Public Utility District, our responsibility is to provide clean, safe drinking water for our residents, our ratepayers, our constituents, and then we also operate 3.2 million gallon a day wastewater plant. Before I arrived as the general manager, before being hired, Lamont had just a huge amount of problems and issues.
I just heard lots of horror stories when I got here. Prior to Scott being here, a lot of things happened, and it left an ugly taste in the community's mouth.
We had a bad reputation in the water community, we had a bad reputation in Kern County as a whole. We just were a laughing stock for the most part.
There was just one thing after another seemed to be a problem for the Lamont Public Utility District. And I really do credit Scott for really making a 180-degree turn. They've really turned this district around.
The water quality issues that the community faces, the aging infrastructure that they face, those are the problems he needs to solve, and probably the biggest hurdle to overcoming that is funding. How are we going to pay for that? Because it's a disadvantaged community without a lot of resources available to them, and the improvements that needed to be made for the infrastructure are very costly.
He's been extremely successful in obtaining grant funding for this district, and it took years, but he never gave up, and he never will give up. Once he gets his teeth into something, he's not going to let go of it until he's successful, and that's what this district needed.
I just watched him day in and day out diligently striving to get the district better wells to where it wouldn't hurt the district financially. He secured a grant for $31 million that ensures that generations to come in Lamont will have clean water that they deserve.
I think what Scott did was amazing. Obviously, he has a $31 million grant with no payback to the state. That's unheard of. Basically, what you did was create a brand new water district in a sense, because your entire facility that pumps the water is all new, state of the art. So this community, is set for the next 80 years.
That doesn't come from someone just sitting in their office all day. You know what I mean? That comes from someone putting in the work, putting in those phone calls, going to 1 million meetings a day, you know what I mean? Standing in there and say, hey, I'm from Lamont Public Utility District and we need good water. He's like an unsung hero. You know what I mean? He's that guy that no one actually gives a lot of recognition to, but he works hard and does so much behind the scenes.
At one point, there was a lady who had called us, this is several years ago, who had called and said that she couldn't drink the water. She didn't feel the water was safe. So I went to her house, I personally went to their house, drank the water out of the faucet. I said, there's nothing wrong with the water, here's the data, here's the numbers, here's the testings. That lady drinks out of her faucet now.
He saw the need in this community, he knew what the issues were, and he has been a fierce advocate for this community and the people that live in the community to get them the type of services that they deserve.
Scott is unique and special in this Lamont community because he's turning it around in a way that hasn't been done before. This isn't pie in the sky that's going to happen sometime in the future. Scott is already implementing it and making it happen.
I think that he deserves for someone to see how hard he has worked in turning this district around and to be acknowledged for just for who he is. He's an awesome guy.
It's not what I've done, it's what we've done. I'm just steering the boat. But if you don't have somebody that works on the motors, makes sure it's still floating, fixes the holes, the boat doesn't leak, does the repairs and the maintenance, without those folks, you can have the best leader on the planet, you won't succeed. I'm very proud of what we have done here. We've done well.